Onstad. Mom, do you know how tall Pat Onstad is?
What's that?
Do you know how tall Pat Onstad is?
No, I don't.
He is 6'4". He is the tallest Edmonton driller. You learn something new every day, especially at drillers games. Here you go, Madison. Here's your T-shirt.
Say thank you.
You having fun? That's good. Nodding her head in approval. You're going to have to share that with your brother, Steven. Thanks very much, folks. Enjoy the rest of the game. All right, guys, the tallest Edmonton driller, and he's been standing on his head tonight. Pat Onstad, back to you.
No question about it, Chris Durham. Thank you very much. As the Attack will take a 3-point lead headed into the final frame. Fan season tickets for the 99-2000 season are on sale now and begin as low as $210. There's a variety of great packages to choose from. Call 474-BALL. That's 474-2255 to order your Attack season tickets. Don't miss any of the fast-paced, non-stop Attack action as the team scores and soars into the next millennium.
It's going to be somebody's last quarter of action here now. Someone's got to go home a loser. The Attack right now poised to go to the conference finals, leading 11-8, now early in the fourth quarter.
Very reminiscent of some earlier games here in Edmonton. Now the ball sent forward. Westcote off his line. It winds around the glass. Sedgwick tried to put his peanut on the ball, but he fouled John Perry from behind. Here's Jeff Davis. Davis leading all scorers tonight with 6 points. He's got a 3-point blast, a 2-pointer, and an assist. All he needs is the shootout goal, and Jeff Davis would score the cycle. Here's JD. Sent it back on the fly to Warren Westcote. Westcote will heave it. That one headed by Sedgwick. And Sean Byer guilty of the foul there.
The Attack doing an excellent job, like we said, defensively here. Drillers had 8 shots in the third quarter. They outshot Kansas City 8-5 in that quarter, but both teams squared off with 1 2-pointer apiece, and that 3-point bulge is back.
Alongside Bruce Mercosi, my name's Nick Bassos. This is the fourth quarter of the semifinal series between the Attack and Drillers. Series pushed to the limit with the Drillers' 22-8 win last night here at the Skyridge Center. The Attack with a 3-point lead, open to head to the conference finals against the St. Louis Ambush. Now Onstad will kick it long for Clark. Clark has Davis in his hip pocket. Bangs it off the boards. Over the box it goes through the air. Olivas trying to settle it. He draws the crowd. Sent back to the half line. And the Drillers' O'Neal Brown will track it down. O'Neal Brown. 79 blocks for O'Neal this season.
Yeah, excellent year for O'Neal. He actually played 2 years ago with the now defunct Toronto Shooting Stars. He's another one of those walk-ons for the Drillers. Didn't have a place to play. They invited him out to the camp for the 97 season, and O'Neal Brown has been a standout and one of the key defenders for this Driller team.
Tim Runfed knocked down to the ground. And Runfed a few choice words for the official right there. Runfed returning to Kansas City for what we believe is going to be his final year of professional soccer. Westcote sends it long into the corner to Hunyak. Hunyak trying to settle it, rolling into the box there, and Onstad pounces on it. And the official blows the whistle. A little bit of contact in there with Pat Onstad.
Yeah, Carlos Savalas and Onstad mixing up a little bit there. They know, like I said, it's gut check time. It's fourth quarter. It's do or die for both clubs.
Here's Onstad. Right up Main Street it goes to Hanser. Hanser turns, shoots, wide. Kansas City able to clear it out of play. Woo. Chris Hanser with a quick move at the top of the box right there. Hanser, one-time shot, and that one wide.
And he was the Drillers' third leading scorer this year with 80 points. And he can play at all 3 positions. He can play striker, he can play mid, and defender.
Here's a drive right on that blasts off the wall. Hunyak sends it high. Vinovich and Hunyak collide, and Goran Hunyak's whistled for the foul.
Battle between the lightweights there, and Vinovich was sent flying.
12:46 left to play in this one. The Attack with a 3-point lead. Into the middle it goes to Hanser, marked by Hauser. Now knocked away by D'Onofrio. You can see Hanser trying to post up there like a ball player. Now Olivas with a near steal, but Edmonton closes quickly and gets it back into Onstead. Now Onstead heaves it right down Main Street. Hauser up over the back, and Nate unhappy about that. Foul called on the attack. As we look at the Drillers bench, Todd Rattie right there, one of the strong defenders for this defensive-minded Drillers club. 12.5 to play in this one. And the restart. Once again, Nicky Vinovich behind the ball. 2 men in the wall for Kansas City. He approaches. Down to Sedgwick. Shoots! And that one up and over the glass. Sedgwick unhappy with his effort there. And it's a lot harder to get that ball low when it's bouncing on this hard carpet here at the Skyreach Center.
It's one of the older turfs in the league, and I've seen a lot of playing time in this field. I believe this was the Wichita Wings previous field, so definitely a lot of soccer been played on this carpet.
Wonder how much sweat Kim Runfed has poured out on this carpet. Now here come the Drillers. Mobilio on over to Holness, back into the middle of Mobilio. Back down to Holness in the corner. Hauser comes over to Marquand. A little bit of support from Perry, who gives him a shove. Holness will take it back front and center. Now through the legs of Nicky Vinovich. Westwood way off his line. Vinovich gets the ball back down to the corner to Mobilio. Back to Vinovich. And that drive is stopped. Kansas City looks to clear. Here's Dave Riker. Boy, Wes Wade and Sedgwick took a tumble, but here comes the igniter, Dave Riker. Riker had it poked away by Sedgwick. Nicky Vinovich by Dave Riker. The attack better get back. Here's Vinovich on over to Holness. Holness at the top of the box. Shoots! Score!
Now a 1-point lead for the attack. Kevin Holness gets that one at 3:30 of the fourth quarter. Brings the Drillers to within 1 point. Here's a look at Ross Ongaro. He's got to be pleased with that. And here's a look at the replay.
Jeff Davis lost his footing there.
Nikolai Vinovich picks up his 4th assist on the night. He's been a big setup man for the Drillers.
As we take a look at Kevin Holness, back underway. Kansas City in the Edmonton third. Here's Ketters, strong on the ball. The attack still with a 1-point lead. Boy, this has turned into a white-knuckle affair here at the Skyreach Center. Game 3. Everything at stake for both clubs. Someone's season will end here tonight. Now Runfed sends it down to the corner to Byer. Rattie steps in front of Sean Byer. Into Onstead, who rolls it out to O'Neal Brown. Here's O'Neal Brown. Down to the corner it goes to Daly. Now Daly back away from the goal with a pass to Rattie. 11-10, Kansas City. Here's Clark. Clark off the boards, right in front. Score!
And the Drillers take their first lead of the game since 3:57 of the second quarter. 2 quick goals for the Drillers, coming in a span of only 55 seconds.
Here's a look at the replay. Chris Clark went off the boards, making the run right in the middle was Martin Dugas. Clark gets the assist. Dugas the goal. And as just timeout is called by Kansas City.
And that's Dugas' first goal in the playoffs. He's been really silent. The attack have done a good job of shutting down Dugas, but he gets one there off the nice bank by Chris Clark. Dugas was the Drillers' leading scorer last season. This year, he was suffering from both a groin injury and a back injury. On a road trip the Drillers had this year, he got violently ill. He had the groin, he had the back, he had some sort of food poisoning. Basically, he was dehydrated, thought he was going to die, basically. He thought he was on his deathbed. But he comes back to score a big one for the Drillers. And in a matter of mere moments, the attack had a 3-point lead. Now they trail by 1.
Soren Savic calls timeout. We take a look at some statistics.
Shots on net, Kansas City is still leading 30-23. Fouls, again, very physical game. Kansas City with 18, Edmonton with 14.
Warren Westfield with 19 saves, and Pat Onstad has done a good job as well in front of the Edmonton net.
And finally, the Drillers have got this crowd into the game. Let's see what KC, how they respond to this.
The attack trail by 1 point. 10.5 to play, and Edmonton gets it back. When you start seeing the Drillers run up and down the field at full speed, that's a cause for concern for Zoran Savic, because they love to fly.
They definitely have a lot of team speed. But again, Kansas City has done an excellent job tonight. It's still only a 1-point game, so anything can happen. We've seen plenty of fireworks in the Npsl in the past.
Chested into the box by D'Onofrio to Onstad. Return pass to Carmen. Here he comes across the half line. Up to Hanser. Hanser had it poked away from Justin Cottrell. Here's Wes Wade. Wade will get it into the attack's offensive half. Wade continuing to go forward. Stops. Now redirects, and foul is called on Edmonton. Kansas City with a restart.
Very physical play along the boards. You saw Wes Wade was battling two Driller players. And with his hard work, he's rewarded with a free kick on the foul against Edmonton.
Wes Wade, the attack's leading scorer during the regular season. Here's Hunyak behind the ball. Front and center to JD for three. That one blocked out of bounds by Martin Nash. Corner kick coming up to KC. Hunyak in the right corner behind the ball. Let's see if they can get it up to Kim Rundfed. Now through the box. Wade was there, but he steered it wide, and it was... Wade was called. You got to be kidding me. Wade was called for the foul there. He and Sedgwick collided.
Plenty of motion by KC on that restart. They kept the Driller defense guessing. Wade couldn't handle it, and he got called with the foul.
Onstead. Up to Vinovich, back to Holness. Here's Mobilio on the right side. Mobilio down to the corner. Now running in. Ranti, his drive goes up into the second deck. And Kansas City will have a goal kick.
9:33 to play in the fourth quarter, and like we said, one of these teams is going to go home tonight wishing that their season could go on. There's Ross Ongaro, head coach of the Drillers, shouting out some instructions to his troops.
Push against Todd Ranti. Wes Wade drew the foul there. Maybe a little payback from the earlier one. Kansas City with a restart just inside the yellow line. 12-11 Drillers. The attack had an 11-6 lead earlier, but it's now Edmonton is on top. Davis nearly knocked it in from three. Rebound! Score! Scoring Goran Hunyak with the hat trick, and Kansas City retakes the lead. 13-12.
On the restart, Pat Onstad got a piece of it. It got back in front, and Goran Hunyak, like you said, with his third of the night and his fifth in the last two games.
Goran continues his hot play, and a big goal for Kansas City there as they now lead by one. Oh, Margaret, things are getting very interesting here in the final frame. Here is Onstad, the long ball sent into Chris Clark. Clark with Davis there in his hip pocket. Clark combs it there for a little while, shoved by Davis. Sedgwick into the right corner, nobody there for the Drillers. Ball comes off to the attack's captain, Kevin Ketters. On up to Perry. Ball got away from John Perry. The Drillers get it back. They lose it. And Kim Rundfed saves it for KC. 13-12. KC. Davis into the right corner to Sean Byer. Byer saves it. Got Shane Campbell there. Off the glass. Byer trying to get it back. And Sean Byer is called for the foul as he and Sedgwick both were going for the ball there.
That last goal by Hunyak coming at the 5:38 mark. But once again, we talked about the play of Jeff Davis. That's the fourth consecutive goal that he's played a big part in.
Now a goal by Edmonton. Chris Hanser, and they retake the lead.
What a seesaw battle we have here tonight, Nick. That one coming at 6:32, and I think it's going to be Chris Hanser who gets credit with the goal. He headed it over the outstretched arms of Warren Westcote. Here's a look at it. Long ball in the corner.
Oh, Jeff Davis
That's going to
trying to head it back to Warren Westcote.
And that's going to be a three-pointer. I'm not sure who the Driller player was that had directed it towards the net with his head. I thought it was Hanser who put it in, but it must have been Davis who put it in.
D'Onofrio will get credit for the goal. Miscue there by Kansas City, and they now trail by 2. So it's back to work for the attack. Approaching 8 minutes to play in this one, and it is back and forth. Davis had tried that header and was successful a couple of times earlier in the night, just letting it skip off his head back to Warren.
Just a bad break for Davis. Again, he's had a tremendous game here, and he just tried to head it over top of the glass, but it went behind Westcote and in the net, and it's costly because that was from three-point range.
Now here come the Drillers. Here comes Mobilio over to Holness. Holness back in the middle of Vinovich. Tucks it down into the corner to Mobilio. Novi with a foul right there on Mobilio. And the Drillers will have what amounts to a corner kick in the left corner. 7:50 to play in this one. The attack trail by 2. Vinovich. Up top, O'Neal Brown shoots, blocked by JD. Jeff Davis trying to control it for Kansas City, will just launch it out the length of the field.
6th lead change we've seen in the game, Nick, so this has just been a seesaw battle. Both teams giving their all in Game 3 of this conference semifinal.
Headed up to Clark. Vinovich in the middle to Dugas. Dugas' drive wide off the window, headed back in. Clark chases it in there. Hauser marks him. They play it away from the goal to Campbell. In the middle it goes to Dugas. Reichert comes up to mark. Ball rolls down to Chris Clark. As you see Nate Hauser and Dave Reichert in there. And the foul is going to be called on Edmonton. Now Clark and Hauser with a couple of words.
Again, it's getting very physical down there. Chris Clark and Nate Hauser mixing up along the boards. KC gets the call there.
Now a little bit too quick for Kansas City, I guess. 7:07 left to play in this one. The attack trailed by 2. Hunyak had just given them the lead at 13-12 before D'Onofrio centered one in the middle that went off the head of Jeff Davis into the attack net for a three-pointer. Now run fed. He'll save it for the attack. On over to Jeff Davis. Davis had it knocked away. Nash settles it. Davis dives in. Here's Nash. Moves into the center. He shoots. That one deflecting off his own player, but a handball is going to be called on Paul Daly.
Yeah, Daly accidentally hit his hand, but that's the way the rules are.
Kansas City needs to get the equalizer. Up to Hunyak. Hunyak tried to chest it, but it comes off to Hanser. Hanser chips it ahead to D'Onofrio. Here's D'Onofrio down the right side, banged by Jeff Davis. He has it in the corner. D'Onofrio turns, knocked away by Runfed. And Reichert will come out with it. Reichert, all alone's got some room down the left side. Here's Reichert trying to center it in. Ball comes right back to him. Reichert gets it to Hunyak with the pass too strong. Hunyak from behind whacks Carmen D'Onofrio and is called for the foul.
We got bodies flying everywhere here, Nick. 6:03 to play. It's going to continue to be physical. No one's going to give up an inch here.
You see Goran Hunyak taking a crack at Carmen D'Onofrio. Goran whistled for the foul. All right, Ritchie. Into the corner it goes to Mobilio. Dominic Mobilio, front and center to O'Neal Brown. Now down to the corner to Kevin Holness. Holness off the boards. Westcote came out. Ball centered. Kevin Ketters is there. And Ketters will play it up to Perry. Perry trying to kick it across the half line, and he was fouled from behind. Kansas City with a restart in their defensive half. And with a close game and emotion so high and everything on the line, we Haven't seen a blue card, but poise and concentration and will be certainly a factor down the stretch here.
Oh yeah, both teams have to be very strict, and they're not going to want to give up a penalty in this situation. Sure, the play can be a little tough, a little rough, but nobody wants to give up a penalty.
Oh, West centered that one in there, headed for Ketters. Wade still battling there. But O'Neal Brown is able to shield West away and come up with it. Here come the Drillers. Brown still has it. On over to the far side. West and O'Neal Brown collide behind the play. Dugas front and center to O'Neal Brown. Brown will back it out to midfield. Here's Sedgwick. All the way back to Pat Onstead. Pressure from John Perry. On over to Shane Campbell. Campbell lifts it high into the air. Nate Hauser and Clark battle, and a foul is called on Chris Clark.
There you see another foul, but disciplined play is going to be the key here, Nick. With 5:06 left to play, both teams sure they continue to play it tough, but they have to play discipline.
Kevin Ketters over the near side. Paul Daly steps in front and heads it back to the half line. Hauser with a touch. Now a breakaway. Caught behind. Here's Clark on the left side. Shoots and scores.
Chris Clark puts the Drillers up by 4. Only 4:49 left to play. Biggest lead of the game for the Drillers at 4 points. And this one came off a counterattack.
The Drillers got ahead of the attack defense. And you can only ask Warren Westcote to make so many saves. Clark right there past Warren Westcote, and the attack are staring the end of the season right in the face. Westcote remains in there. We'll see what Zoran Savic does as far as the sixth attacker. 4:45 left to play in this one. And the long ball into the corner. It goes to Sean Byer. Cleared out by Edmonton's Martin Nash. Jeff Davis got a piece of that one. Hauser trying to control it, battling Hanser. Hanser comes out with it. Here's Hanser. He shoots. Westcote a save. Rebound shot. Up and over the glass, but first a foul.
Still plenty of time for the attack to get back in this one. I'm sure Zoin's going to have a few words for the guys, get them motivated, maybe come up with a couple step plays. But the Drillers right now are playing like a bunch of rabid dogs. They're just all over them.
Now Westcote, he heaves it across the line. Edmonton wins it back. Mobilio over to Holness. Here's Holness. Holness circles back around and will play it in the corner, centered into the middle. Jeff Davis will funnel it back into Warren Westcote. Here's Runfed. Runfed to Hunyak. Scoring Gorin, battling Shane Campbell. Hunyak gets it back, but runs into Sedgwick. The Drillers able to win it, send it across the line, but Jeff Davis holds it in. Now Runfed. Runfed will leave us. Back to Runfed for three, and nearly deflected in by Goran Hunyak, making a bid for his fourth goal, but that one off of Edmonton.
Bill Sedgwick tried to clear it for the Drillers. He didn't get a handle of the whole thing, and it deflected off his foot and over the boards. Corner kick, KC.
And Hunyak behind the ball. Hunyak to Ketters. Ketters tried to move it into the center. Jeff Davis will save it for Kansas City and play it to Westcote. 3.5 to play in this one. Edmonton leads 17-13. A big blow, a three-pointer by D'Onofrio, and most recent goal, Chris Clark scored a two-pointer. A big, ferocious battle on the far dasher boards and a foul called on Edmonton, and Warren Westcote is leaving the field, and sixth attacker is now in there for KC, Kim Runfed. Sixth attacker in there. And here he is, Kim Runfed, on over to Jeff Davis. Davis winds up, dials three for a long distance, and that one knocked out of bounds by Bill Sedgwick.
He almost had his second goal off a deflection tonight. Nice hard blast from Davis from outside three-point line. Deflected off Bill Sedgwick. Another corner kick for the attack.
Wes Wade will be behind the ball this time, left in the corner. Wade across the box. That one off the two-man wall. Davis plays it front and center to Kim Runfed. Exposed net. Davis through the box. Ketters on the volley, and that one up and over the glass.
Good velocity on the shot by Ketters. He just got it a little too high there. Just got to try and get that one down. Let a lot of good speed on it. Just raised it, unfortunately, a little too high.
There you look at Soren Savic, the attack bench. Kansas City needs to rally to extend their season. Edmonton trying to hold serve at home. Onstead, the long ball to Clark. Now the Drillers don't have to go forward. Clark knocked down. Jim Rundfed comes up with it. Fans wanted a foul there. Rundfed over to Hauser. Knocked away by Dugas. Rolls back towards the attack goal, and Rundfed will get back there to gather it up for Kansas City. Now Hunyak fouled in the midfield. No call, but Hauser comes up with it. Nate for three. Onstead a save. Nate hit that one low and hard, but Onstead went down to get it. Now Onstead, a terrible throw there. That wounded duck out of bounds, and Kansas City will have it.
Bad miscue by Onstead after a stellar save. He's a big man. He's 6'4". He fully extended himself to make that save, but a very poor throw. And now there's an opportunity for KC with a restart right at top of the box.
The attack trailed by 4. Sixth attacker in there. Restart top of the D. Here's Wade. And they're going to think about it. Going to call a timeout. Kansas City will try to draw something up. 2:08 left to play in Game 3 of this National Conference semifinal series. The winner will take on the St. Louis Ambush, who advanced by defeating the Buffalo Blizzard 2-1. Attention, moms and dads, sign up your kids at one of several 1999 summer soccer camps in the Kansas City area. The 5-day camps run June through August in a neighborhood near you. Sponsored by Hardee's, Blue Bunny Ice Cream, Guys Snack Foods, and Coca-Cola. Reserve your kids' dream today. Call the attack at 474-2255. As we take a look at some stats.
Kansas City still with the lead in shot, 34-28. A lot of fouls out there, 27 for KC, 23 for the Drillers. Combination of saves and blocks, 20 for KC, 28 for the Drillers.
Ross Darrow trying to get his club to the National Conference Finals for the first time since the club joined the Npsl 3 years ago.
And Kansas City definitely has a set play made up here, Nick. We'll try and see which side they play it to.
Ketters and Perry are behind the ball. Here's Ketters, flicks it back to Perry, shoots! Oh, ding-dong off the post! Margaret! Kansas City looks to hold it in. And the foul called on Edmonton.
Couldn't catch a break on that one. It ringed off the post, and that was a nice hard blast.
Oh. Here's Perry behind the ball again. He's got a goal tonight. Johnny across the box, and that one headed out of bounds by O'Neal Brown. So Kansas City will have it in the left corner. Well, the officials are trying to decide which one it's going to be in, but I think it'll be in the left corner. Ketters wants to take this one right at the top of the D, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Three-man wall in front of Pat Onstead. You see him directing traffic down there.
Wild West behind the ball. Here's West up to JD, shoots, and Onstead reaches back and snares it. Oh my! Onstead heaves it. Rolling. That one wide. Rundfed pressed up against the glass. Davis bangs it out of bounds, and Edmonton will have it on the restart.
Two glorious chances for the attack, and we talked about Pat Onstead, the big frame. Here you see him just reach back and grab the ball. That big frame of his, he just grabbed that ball, and again, two glorious opportunities for the attack.
Here's Hanser. Wade will come back to deny the pass behind. Play it over to Dugas. The Drillers will look just